Hello, friends. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that your country's banking system is frozen. Hospitals cannot access patient records, airports cannot coordinate flights, electricity grids are malfunctioning, government websites are offline. Now imagine that no missile were launched, no tank crossed borders, and no soldier invaded. This is the reality of cyber warfare. For centuries, political power was measured through territory, armies, and physical borders. Governments protected their citizens by controlling land and maintaining military forces. But in the 21st century, power is increasingly moving into cyberspace, a domain where borders are difficult to define and attackers can remain invisible. Today, cyber warfare has become one of the most important challenges facing modern states. It is changing how conflicts occur, how power is exercised, and how even governments maintain authority. In this lecture, we will explore what cyber warfare is, why it matters, and how it challenges traditional ideas of sovereignty and whether it is quietly weakening the nation states itself. To understand the impact of cyber warfare, we must first understand what a nation state is. The modern nation state emerged after the 1648 Peace of Westphalia in Europe. This political system was built on several key principles. Government control, number one, government control a defined territory. Number two, governments must possess a monopoly over the legitimate use of force. Number three, government possess sovereignty within their own borders, and government foreign actors should not interfere in domestic affairs of the government. States built armies to defend territories, borders separated political communities, power flowed from central governments. However, the digital revolution has created a new environment where information travels instantly across borders and where attacks can originate from almost anywhere. This development has created new vulnerabilities that traditional political institutions were never designed to handle. Friends, cyber warfare refers to the use of digital technologies to disrupt, damage, manipulate, or gain unauthorized access to computer systems and networks for strategic purposes. Cyber operations can target governments, military systems, banks, energy infrastructures, transportation networks, communication systems, media organizations. Unlike conventional warfare, cyber attacks often occur silently. There may be no explosions, no visible battlefield, no declaration of war, yet the consequences can be significant. A successful cyber operation can disrupt economic activity, undermine public trust, and create political instability without firing a single bullet. Traditional warfare usually requires large armies, expensive equipments, and substantial resources. Cyber warfare changed this equation. A relatively small group of skilled individuals may be capable of causing damage that previously required state level military power. This creates what scholars call the democratization of disruption. Power is no longer concentrated exclusively in governments. Non state actors can now influence events in ways that were previously impossible. These actors may include criminal organizations, hacktivist groups, terrorist networks, private contractors, independent hackers. The result is a more decentralized and unpredictable security environment. One of the biggest challenges in cyber warfare is attribution. In conventional warfare, identifying the attacker is usually straightforward. If tanks cross a border, their origin is often obvious. Cyber attacks are different. Attackers can hide their identity through proxy servers, anonymous networks, compromised computers, third party infrastructure. As a result, governments may struggle to determine who is responsible. Was the attack launched by a rival state, a criminal gang, a patriotic hacker acting independently, or something tried to create confusion? This uncertainty complicates political responses. Governments may hesitate to retaliate because they cannot confidently identify the attacker. Cyber warfare also blurs the distinction between war and peace. Historically, war and peace were created as separate conditions. Today, states may engage in continuous cyber competition without openly declaring war. Cyber espionage, data theft, influence campaigns, and network intrusions occur constantly. Many experts argue that cyberspace has created a condition of permanent low level conflict. Countries compete every day in the digital domain. The battlefield never fully disappears, it simply becomes less visible. Modern societies depend heavily on interconnected digital systems, electricity networks, water systems, telecommunications, transportations, financial institutions, healthcare systems. All these institutions, networks rely on computer networks. As governments become more technologically dependent, their vulnerability also increase. A successful attack on critical infrastructure can generate widespread disruption. Even temporary disruption can produce economic losses and public anxiety. This raises important questions. Can governments truly protect citizens in a highly interconnected digital environment? Can sovereignty be maintained when essential infrastructure depend on vulnerable networks? These questions remain central to contemporary political debates. Cyber warfare is not limited to computer systems. Information itself has become a strategic weapon. Social media platforms allow information to spread rapidly across borders. While this creates opportunity for communication, it also creates opportunities for manipulation. Governments, political groups, and other actors may attempt to influence public opinion through disinformation campaigns, coordinated propaganda, fake accounts, manipulated content. The objective is often not to convince everyone of a particular idea. Instead, the goal may be to create confusion, polarization, and distrust. Political scientist Hannah Arendt once argued that democracy depends on a shared understanding of reality. When citizens cannot agree on basic facts, political systems become more fragile. Cyber enabled information warfare directly challenge this foundation. One of the most significant consequences of cyberspace is the redistribution of power. Historically, governments controlled most strategic resources. Today, technological expertise is often dispersed across society. A small group of skilled individuals may possess capabilities that rival state institutions. This creates what scholars describe as a decentralized power structures. Authority becomes fragmented. Governments are no longer the only important actors. Technology companies, cybersecurity firms, hacker communities, and digital platforms all play influential roles. Power increasingly flows through networks rather than hierarchies. This transformation challenged traditional models of governance. An interesting feature of modern cyber politics is the growing influence of private corporations. Technology companies manage enormous amounts of global digital infrastructure, cloud computing services, communication platforms, search engines. social media networks, data centers. These companies often possess resources and technical expertise comparable to some governments. As a result, political power is becoming partially privatized. In certain situations, governments depend on private firms to defend national infrastructure or respond to cyber incidents. This raises difficult questions. Who controls cyberspace? Governments, corporations, or both? The answer is increasingly the answer is increasingly becoming more complex. Sovereignty has traditionally meant control over territory and population. But cyber warfare challenges both dimensions of the sovereignty. Digital networks do not respect physical borders as we assume in sovereign states. Information moves across jurisdiction almost instantly. A government may control its territory but struggle to control information flow beyond the borders. As a result, some scholars argue that sovereignty is evolving rather than disappearing nowadays. Governments continue to exist, borders remain important. However, sovereignty is becoming more contested and more difficult to enforce. States must now defend not only physical territory but also its digital space. The title of this video asks whether cyber warfare is quietly dismantling the nation states or not. The answer is complicated. Some observers believe cyber warfare is weakening governments by eroding control over information, increasing vulnerability to disruptions, empowering non state actors, reducing barriers to conflict. Others argue that states remain remarkably resilient. Governments continue to collect taxes, enforce laws, maintain militaries, regulate economies, manage public institutions. In many cases, cyber threats have encouraged states to strengthen cybersecurity capabilities rather than surrender authority. Therefore, it may be more accurate to say that cyber warfare is transforming the nation state rather than eliminating it. The state is adapting to a new environment. The future of cyber warfare remains uncertain. Several trends are likely to shape the coming decades. Artificial intelligence may automate cyber attacks and defenses. Critical infrastructure will become increasingly connected through the Internet of Things. Digital surveillance capabilities may expand. Competitions among major powers will increasingly include cyber operations. Meanwhile, international law continues to struggle with questions such as what constitutes a cyber attack, when should states respond, how should cyber conflicts be regulated. Many of these issues remain unresolved. Friends, cyber warfare represents one of the most significant political transformation of the digital age. It challenges traditional assumptions about power, security, sovereignty, and conflicts. Unlike conventional warfare, cyber conflicts operates in a decentralized environment where states, corporations, criminal networks, and individuals all possess influence. The result is a world where power is more dispersed and where political authority faces new forms of pressure. The nation state is not disappearing, but it is evolving. Governments that once focused primarily on defending borders must now defend networks, data, infrastructure, and public trust. The struggle for power in the 21st century will not occur only on land, sea, or air, it will increasingly occur in cyberspace. And the outcome of these invisible conflicts may shape the future of global politics just as profoundly as the great wars of the past. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this academic analysis, subscribe to @Irshad Explains Politics for more videos exploring geopolitics, power technology, and the changing nature of modern political systems. If you want to study more about these topics, you can read following books: The Rise and Fall of the Great Powers, Cyber War Will Not Take Place, works on cyber powers and international relations, NATO cyber defense publications, and there are United Nations reports on responsible state behavior in cyber space. Thank you.